Glad you could join us once again for this session on the agency blueprint. Today's focus is all about crafting content that truly brings results. This is somewhat of a continuation from our last discussion, so let's not waste any time and dive straight into it. All right, here's the breakdown of what we're about to get into. First up, I'm going to walk you through the content cultivation process, and then we're going to wrap things up with a look at the revenue-generating workflow. Now, diving into content cultivation, it's crucial to grasp why the systems and processes I'm laying out for you today are exceptionally potent. The key reason behind this lies in the principle of the mere exposure effect. This is a psychological phenomenon where individuals naturally start to prefer and feel more comfortable with things simply because they are familiar with them. Moving on, another crucial concept to grasp is interpersonal attraction and its overall implications. Research in interpersonal attraction shows that the frequency at which one sees a person directly correlates with how pleasant and likable they find that individual. This becomes incredibly advantageous for us because as they encounter our content more frequently, they start building a relationship with us. This will inevitably reflect in the interactions we have with them, influencing the back-and-forth conversations and messages we exchange. Lastly, let's touch on the power of repetition. Straightforward and consistent repetition can etch a memory trace in the consumer's mind, subtly influencing their purchasing behaviors. This is what makes the mere exposure effect so potent. Through the consistent repetition of producing content, whether it be on LinkedIn or any other platform, focused on our subject, our niche, and that specific sub-niche, we harness this power. Essentially, what this enables us to do is to remain consistently in their line of sight. We start to establish ourselves as the go-to authority in that realm. This is crucial because it means that our messages could very well hold their own ground and work effectively on their own. However, when you integrate content production into the mix, you elevate the entire game. The dynamic shifts, and instead of having to put forth extensive effort, you find clients actively seeking you out. You transition into a position of power and influence. Now, allow me to break down what I mean by this shift in dynamics. By utilizing content strategically, you ensure that your presence is felt daily by prospects within your sub-niche, those who have entered your sales funnel. We are effectively leveraging the mere exposure effect to sway their decision-making process in our favor. The ultimate goal here is to embed your presence in their minds so that when they contemplate growing their online presence, your name is the first that comes to mind, particularly within their specific sub-niche. This top-of-mind awareness ensures that your follow-up messages resonate more effectively and yield higher conversion rates, all thanks to the familiarity and trust you've cultivated with them over the preceding days. Thus, we transition away from the need to exert undue pressure or nearly plead with prospects to engage with us. Instead, we let our content do the talking, showcasing our value and expertise, building up our authority. This positioning grants us a significant advantage, placing us firmly in a seat of power. It's a smooth move, a well-played strategy. You know, the book is quite decent. If it piques your interest, feel free to grab a copy. It may not make my list of all-time favorites, but it's worth mentioning. The book Power versus Forces zeroes in on the fundamental principle of force. Now, force is what the majority tend to rely on, pushing hard to mold their desired outcomes. On the flip side, power is all about playing it smart. It's about crafting a system, establishing an ecosystem, where essentially, opportunities and successes gravitate towards you. That's the real move. Operating from a place of abundance, you find that attracting success becomes a more effortless process. That's the essence of cultivation for you. To give you a sense of where this fits into our sales funnel, let's break it down. We start with the profile and the content. This fuels our LinkedIn messages, which then seamlessly translate into sales calls. It's all interconnected. I've taken the liberty of creating a worksheet for you, and as usual, it's ready for you to download right below this video. All you have to do is click on the link, make a copy for yourself, and you're all set. I'm about to guide you through the steps of establishing your very own content production machine, tailored for your organic sales process. This is key to nurturing your relationships and amassing a substantial amount of top-of-mind awareness. Let's get into it. Let's delve back into the mere exposure effect. I want to make it clear, this isn't about racking up thousands of likes or becoming the next big sensation. We're not here to inflate our bank accounts or our egos overnight. I need you to remember that, just as I emphasized in our previous module. I'm bringing it back up for emphasis, reminding you once again of what our true aim is here. When it comes to creating posts, your target should be to craft 4 to 5 posts weekly as part of your organic client attraction and cultivation strategy. Ensure that you maintain this consistency, posting 4 to 5 times each week. If possible, feel free to exceed that number. However, this is the baseline. If you commit to anything, ensure it's this, because this is where the magic happens. This is the sweet spot. Now, I'm going to introduce you to the 3 types of posts that I highly recommend, complete with examples. First up, we have story posts. Story posts are all about sharing a brief, personal narrative that serves to inspire others. You don't want to overdo this, but it's a space where you can open up about a past state, detailing your feelings, struggles, and the journey you undertook to overcome them, leading up to where you stand now. All right, let's be clear. It doesn't necessarily have to be about your agency. The story could be about personal achievements like shedding 50 pounds, deciding to quit alcohol, moving away from your hometown, or even something as specific as navigating through a tough day with a Facebook ad campaign. Really, it can be about any aspect of your journey. The scale of the story doesn't have to be grand. Even the smallest experiences can make an impact. Here's an example from someone well known in the field, Iman Godzi. He used this tactic and shared a post on Instagram, styled like a story. Now, let's talk about quick wins. It's crucial to spotlight the results you've been achieving for your clients. Don't fall into the trap of thinking it must be a massive victory right off the bat. It could be the outcome of a single campaign, or even a positive reaction from a prospect following a call. Keep in mind, it's not mandatory to have a client on board already. This could also apply to the calls you're nailing, or the responses you're garnering from your messages. For instance, you might share a snapshot of your workspace. The possibilities are vast. Imagine sharing a moment of triumph, perhaps a caption that goes something like, "Just wrapped up another 8-hour grind, diving deep into my passion, feeling incredibly fulfilled in this e-commerce growth space." This, right here, is a quick win. It's all about capturing those moments of achievement and contentment. And just to clarify, this doesn't always have to be client-centric or directly related to your agency. It could be as simple as celebrating the grind, the dedication to your work. Naturally, you'd want to tie it back to what you do, but remember, it's not a strict requirement. I've laid out several examples for you to peruse, just to give you a clearer picture. Lastly, let's talk about short quotes or insights. Share bite-sized ideas or quotes that resonate with you. These snippets of wisdom or thought-provoking ideas can have a powerful impact, and they help in sharing a bit of your mindset and values with your audience. You should aim to personalize these short quotes or insights, making them relevant to your specific field and industry. When you're just beginning your journey with creating content, it's completely normal to feel a bit insecure. Many experience a sense of imposter syndrome, questioning if they truly know enough to be sharing posts and insights. This feeling is quite common, and you're not alone in this. While these feelings are indeed common, I want to reassure you that they don't reflect the reality of the situation. Remember, you're not positioning yourself as a life coach or someone handing out advice left and right. That's not our role here. Instead, think of it as sharing personal stories, celebrating wins, and offering your unique perspective on different strategies. It's more about expressing your journey and thoughts, rather than assuming the position of an all-knowing advisor. To ease into the process and overcome these feelings, one effective strategy is to seek inspiration from existing content. Identify your top 3 to 5 influencers in your domain, be it e-commerce growth, digital marketing, Facebook ads, or any other relevant field. Pay attention to their content, observe their style, and notice how they communicate their ideas. This can serve as a valuable learning experience and a confidence booster, helping you find your own voice in the space. So you can scope out their most fire posts, yeah? Feel free to dive in. Imagine you spot someone deep in the e-commerce expansion game or in digital marketing, and you peep their most lit posts, talking about things like Facebook ads, blowing up on Shopify, all that good stuff, you feel me? So go ahead, put your unique touch on it, tailor it to your own vibe. Just like that, you've crafted your initial posts. Picture this. An influencer gets mad love for a piece they did, laying out the blueprint on prepping for iOS 14, hitting them with 5 solid strategies, you know? Feel free to snatch that title, switch it up to something like, How to Get Ready for iOS 14, 5 Tested Strategies Tailored for Wellness Brands. Do your thing, flip it with your own style. But real talk, never just hit copy and paste. Always keep it original. That's just not the way to do it, you know? It won't hit right, but for real, you can take it, put your own stank on it, add your unique voice, and cater it to your own particular sub-niche. Make it something they can vibe with, something that speaks to them. You've got to focus on gaining that momentum, you know? Don't be thinking your first few posts are going to be top tier. They won't be, for real. They'll be pretty far from great. And looking back, you'll see it clear as day, and that's completely fine. But you've got to get in there, you've got to stay on it and put in the work. Because if you don't, you're not going to level up, you're not going to see improvement. All right, so my philosophy videos, they were lacking. My philosophy posts, not up to par either. But the deal is, you just elevate your game as time goes on. Now, I've laid out a bit of a content calendar for you. Peep this launch workflow. Monday, hit them with a story post. Tuesday, drop a short quote with your commentary. Wednesday, it's time for an insight post. Thursday, serve them quick wins. Friday, back at it with another insight post. And Saturday, keep it real with a personal picture. With the personal picture, I haven't really touched on it here, but don't box yourself into thinking you've got to keep everything strictly professional. Truth be told, I believe it's a solid move to, at least once a week, just share a little slice of your life, be it a moment with your family, your significant other, or a snapshot from a recent getaway. It adds a bit of that personal touch, you know? Just to give them a glimpse of the real you, because let's keep it 100. A lot of the real connections happen in the DMs, in those messages. So the more you let that human side shine through, whether it's by putting your face out there, dropping photos, or even just sharing a little bit of your personal world, that's what's really going to create a bond, build rapport with the folks you're talking to. So you've got options. You can even batch produce your content during the weekend for the entire week. There are tools out there like Hootsuite that let you schedule everything to drop automatically. All right, cool. So that wraps it up for the content production machine. Now, let's slide back to the schedule, to the slideshow, and get into the revenue-generating workflow. Here's my piece of advice for you. Dedicate a solid 2 to 3 hours each day strictly for prospecting and making moves for organic client attraction. I'd say make it a routine, lock in the same time slot daily, and if you can swing it, aim for the early hours, from Monday straight through to Sunday, all right? If you're juggling a 9 to 5, or you're deep in your studies, whatever your hustle is, I'm suggesting you find a way to rise a bit earlier. Strive to get in at least 2 solid hours of focused work before the rest of your responsibilities kick in, so you can channel your peak energy, the kind you've got right after you wake up, into the things that are really going to push your life forward. Prioritize giving energy to what matters most, right off the bat. And then, be consistent with it. Make sure you've got that time locked in every single day. Make it a routine, so it becomes second nature. Now, when it comes to the content creation side, you've got choices. You can either batch all your content for the week during the content creation grind. I'm talking maybe you take Sunday or a bit of Saturday and Sunday, get all your content ready for the week. And then you can schedule it out with tools like Hootsuite, which I broke down in the worksheet. Or you could opt to spend 30 minutes to an hour each day creating content. The choice is in your hands. But the main thing, the key, is to stay on it, be consistent. Now, for the action steps, and this ties back to the previous lecture too, block out that necessary time in your calendar for prospecting and approaching. Start making moves, reaching out on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And when it comes to content, start creating, start batching. And with that, we wrap up this lecture. See you guys very soon.